He didn't want power. He wanted a clean world. That distinction is what makes Light Yagami the most psychologically terrifying character in anime history. Not because he was evil, because he wasn't. Light Yagami was born exceptional. Perfect grades, perfect face, perfect future, and he knew it. That's the part people miss. Light didn't develop arrogance after finding the Death Note. He carried it quietly, long before. The notebook didn't corrupt him, it revealed him. There's a clinical name for what Light had before the Death Note ever touched his hands. Narcissistic personality disorder, a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a need for admiration, and a profound lack of empathy. But NPD alone doesn't make a killer. What made Light dangerous was something else. He was bored, not the boredom of an idle mind. The boredom of a mind that has outgrown everything around it and hasn't found a purpose large enough to contain it. That kind of emptiness is volatile. The Death Note was a spark dropped into gasoline. The first name Light wrote in the Death Note was a criminal holding hostages, a test. Nothing more. He told himself it was justice. Then came a man on television, calling Kira a criminal. Live, in front of the world, Light wrote his name before the broadcast ended. Not because the man was dangerous, because Light was insulted. Among every name Light had written, every criminal, every act he called justice, this one was different. This one was ego, and he immediately reframed it, told himself it was necessary, that the man deserved it, that the world was better without him. That's called rationalization. The unconscious mind rewriting reality to protect the self-image. Light would spend the next several years building an entire identity on that rationalization. Every name after became easier, because the first lie is always the hardest. Kira was not a persona Light adopted. Kira was Light Yagami with the mask removed. The God complex, clinically delusions of grandeur, is not simply believing you are powerful. It is believing that your judgment is absolute, that your values are universal law, that anyone who opposes you is not just wrong but a threat to the greater good. Light didn't think he was playing God. He thought he was correcting a mistake God had made. That distinction matters, because it means Light's psychology was never about selfishness, at least not consciously. He genuinely believed in what he was doing. That is what makes the God complex so lethal. It doesn't feel like madness from the inside. It feels like clarity. Here is what no one says about Light Yagami. He worked. The world he imagined, free of crime, governed by fear of consequence, is a world that millions of people have quietly wished for. When Kira began killing criminals, crime rates dropped. Fear spread. Order followed. Light wasn't operating in a vacuum. He had believers, followers, people who looked at his work and felt relief. That's not a detail. That's the thesis. Light Yagami is a mirror. He took the darkest, most suppressed impulse in human psychology, the desire to remove people we deem unworthy, and he acted on it, without apology, without hesitation, and the world responded with devotion. The psychological term for this is shadow projection. Carl Jung described the shadow as the part of the self we refuse to acknowledge, the parts we consider unacceptable. Light didn't just embody his own shadow, he embodied ours. When people worshipped Kira, they weren't worshipping a murderer, they were recognizing themselves. The tragedy of Light Yagami is not that he failed, it's that he succeeded, and it still destroyed him. By the end, Light had lost everything that made him Light. The intelligence remained, the will remained, but the person, the son, the friend, the human, had been consumed entirely by the role. There's a psychological concept called identity fusion, the point at which a person no longer sees themselves as separate from a cause, an ideology, a role. Light didn't just become Kira, he disappeared into him. The final scene of Death Note is not a villain being defeated. It's a man finally seeing what he had actually become and finding, in that moment, that there was nothing left underneath. Light Yagami didn't lose because L was smarter. He didn't lose because the system caught up with him. He lost because the mirror shattered, and when it did, there was no one standing behind it. The most dangerous mind is not the one that chooses evil. It's the one that chooses justice and never questions who gave it the right. Subscribe. We go deeper here every time.